Welcome to this yoga practice for detox and to alleviate muscle soreness. Recently, I quit sugar. It's been a couple weeks now. I'm staying strong, but I'm still experiencing some detox symptoms. So I Googled online how long this was going to last for sugar withdrawal detox symptoms. And it said anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple years. And I was kind of wanting an actual answer from that. But I changed my mind about how I feel about that answer because it reminds me of non-comparison. My experience is going to be my experience and it's perfectly valid just the way that it is. So with that being said, let's get to our practice. So let's begin in a comfortable seated position. I'm taking half lotus, but whatever feels good for you today. Sitting evenly on the right and left hip, bringing our focus to our spine, elongating through the crown. Shoulders are on top of hips. Maybe roll the shoulders back. Nice and tall, relaxed in this seated position, resting the hands on the thighs. Let's close our eyes and take a few breaths together. Beginning with an inhale. And exhale. Inhale again. And exhale. Let's inhale one more time. And exhale. Fluttering the eyes open. For our first pose, we're going to do a forward fold from our seated position, elongating through the crown. And with the straight spine, we will fold forward. Options to grab a block, placing it under the forehead. The next option is to remove the block and coming onto the ground or the forearms. And the third option are to bring two blocks in front, and it will make the pose a little bit more challenging, but give it a try if you'd like. So elongating the spine, reaching through the crown with a straight spine, folding forward, reaching through the arms. We'll hold this pose for 2 minutes. Let's lift up from this pose with a straight spine. Coming back up to seated. We'll take out the left leg, shake it out. Ah. So for our next pose, we're going to take Embryo, beginning in a kneeling position with the feet together and knees together, elongating the spine, rooting through the base, reaching through the crown, shoulders over hips. When you feel like you're in full alignment, fold forward with a straight spine, and you can rest your head on a block or on the ground, whichever feels good for you. And then reach your arms to lay next to your body, palms facing up. We'll stay here for another 2 minutes. All of our poses, we're going to stay for 2 minutes. All right, let's slowly lift up with a straight spine, coming back to our kneeling position. Take child's pose, doing some side stretches. So we'll begin with our big toes together and spreading our legs apart into a wider stance. Once you're comfortable, elongating the spine, rooting through the base of the spine, reaching through the crown, rotating to the left. From here, we will raise our arms up, stretching our body, elongating the spine, and then with control and a straight back, we will fold forward, resting our head on a block or the ground, whatever feels good for you. Maybe you grab onto some blocks or the floor, check in with your hips, make sure they're both rooting down, and then rest into this pose for 2 minutes. Let's lift our head up. Use our hands for support as we lift our back up nice and straight and rotate back to center. From here, let's take a few breaths together, closing our eyes, taking a deep inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. All right, let's take it to the other side. Inhaling the arms up, rotating to the right with a straight spine, reaching through the crown, elongating the spine, coming forward, rooting through the base of the spine, nice and elongated. Maybe reaching the arms out, grabbing a block, stretching as much as you can, keeping the hips grounded to the feet. Lifting the head, coming back up with a straight spine, rotating to the center, closing our eyes for another cycle of breath. Let's inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Flutter the eyes open, and we'll transition to our next pose. Sitting tall, straight spine, shoulders over hips, reaching through the crown, hands for support next to the hips, feet are flexed, and let's just begin by shaking out our legs. Get your legs nice and loose, tapping the toes back and forth. There's a lot of bent knee positions, so let's alleviate that before we go into our back bend. And once you feel ready, once you feel good, we're going to take hero's pose, so bending our knees, bending our knees another time. We'll begin sitting with our booty between our feet. Knees are together, hands at either side, And from here, I'll show you a few options. The first one is coming back onto the elbows and leaning the head back. If this feels good, maybe come all the way down. And if this is way too difficult and it feels uncomfortable, I recommend beginning with one leg at a time. If back bends are in your practice and you want a little bit more of a challenge, I recommend sitting on a block, leaning all the way back and coming onto the crown of your head. Coming onto our elbows, tucking our chin to our chest, placing our hands on the mat, coming back up to a seated position. From here we can remove the block, crossing our legs, sitting back, hugging the knees, rolling onto the back, keeping the knees hugged. Let's stay here for a few breaths. All right, we're going to take some spinal twists so we can release the legs. Grab a block, bringing our legs to tabletop and placing the block in between the thighs. Bringing the arms out to a T, we can begin by rotating to the left, maybe looking over the right, closing the eyes, resting here for 2 more minutes. back to center. Adjust as needed. And let's take it to the other side, bringing our legs to the right, looking over the left, closing the eyes. Flutter the eyes open, bringing the legs back to center, moving the block, placing the hands down, palms down on the mat, reaching the legs, pointing the toes up to the sky. From here, we're going to slowly lower them all the way down. Let's take our final pose, Shavasana, resting here for 2 more minutes as we allow the detox to continue in our body, alleviating any kind of pain that we may be experiencing, knowing that the symptoms are natural and it's our body's way of removing toxins. These processes may last as long as they need to, but it's all for the health of our body. Lay here in this healthy feeling, this healthy experience, doing something good for yourself and your body, your mind and your spirit. We can begin by waking up our body, circling the wrists and ankles, taking a big overhead full body stretch. And bringing our body to one side, lifting up, and meeting in a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. I hope you feel restored and rejuvenated for the rest of your day. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.